Hello and welcome to Talk with J.O. I'm your captain, Jackson Otieno, and it's a new week, new guest, new show. I'm super excited, man. Talk with J.O. is all about inspiring stories. We keep saying that everyone has a story to tell, everyone is important, and everyone's story is important. It just depends how the story is told. And so today we're going to tell a story of an amazing gentleman. His story is inspiring. He's such a brilliant mind, man. I've interacted with him, and I'm always in awe, with the wisdom that oozes from him. My guest is none other than Brian Singora.
Yes.
Let him definitely introduce himself, and we'll flow. Brian, so good to have you, man.
Thank you. Nice to have you.
Thanks for coming, man. I know it's COVID, man.
It's good.
It's good. It's good to see you.
It's good. I sanitize.
I feel like telling you Happy New Year, but
I think last time we saw each other must have been 2019.
Whoa, was 2019?
2019. Okay, nowadays we don't count 2020 because it was off for everybody, But this year is flying because March is over. And we just started, and I think it's going to be really fast. It's going to go really fast this year,
Yeah.
It's really fast. So, but we thank God.
Yeah, good to have you. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Yeah.
I like your talk, man.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God. Yeah.
For the sake of our viewer, if someone who doesn't know you, at least I've interacted with you. If someone asked you who's Brian, I mean, what would you say?
Well, that question is tough. Who am I?
Yeah.
I guess everybody's asking themselves that question. Every day you look in the mirror, you're thinking about who am I? And I think possibly in the context of this interview, this talk, then we'll be able to discover more of that. And I hope I'll also discover myself more.
Yeah.
Questions help you reveal. So we trust God. But I am Brian Obora Singora. Second born. I have an older brother, a younger brother. I have a wife, beautiful, lovely. She's given me 3 children, and thank God, 3 very lovely children. And my dad passed on when I was younger. So that's me and my family. My younger brother has a wife and 3 children also. So we thank God about how our family is. And
it's now that especially you mentioned the family bit, like how was it? How was your childhood? How was it growing up? Like, tell me that story, man. Where were you born? And take me to that journey.
Both my parents are Luya, Kenyan, Luya, Manyala, for that fact. I was born in Eldoret. My mom was a teacher, and my dad was an advocate. And at that time, he was working in Eldoret. He was working with the municipal county back then. So he was working there. And so me and all my siblings were born there. But in 4 years, we moved to Nairobi.
I see.
Yeah, and we moved to Madaraka Estate, where we had our early childhood. I was born in a Catholic family. We used to go to Don Bosco, so that was our initial church. And life, I guess, was normal. You play around, you have friends, you have neighbors, you play shake, you ride bikes. So life was honky-dory, I guess would be the word. And we really enjoyed ourselves growing up until my dad passed. And that happened in 1995. I was about 8, 9 there about. And he was unwell, and then pneumonia, and then he passed. And life changed drastically. And the drastic change means that I remember growing up, we used to go to Consolata. Myself and my younger bro were in Consolata. My older bro was in St. Mary's. But a year later, we moved schools and went to a village school in Kisii called Mosocho Academy, Mosak. is what they
Mosaka
call.
Academy.
Yeah, Mosaka. It's in Kisii, Mosocho, next to Oyugis, right on the road to Oyugis.
Okay.
And that was a very drastic shift, coming from a place where you talk English, going to a place where English is a strange language.
Yeah.
The culture shock, coming from a day school, going to a boarding school immediately. But we understand, because now that we are grown up, we understand that fathers are the strength of a home. So when a father goes, then you have to do some adjustments. And our mom was brave enough to make those bold adjustments. But Mosocho Academy was a very good place for us. It taught us a different view of life, because I think growing up, we grew up with Segas and Nintendos and bikes. And so we understood life from a different point of view. But going there, the bell used to ring and we used to go and pick firewood so that we can take it for dinner or for breakfast. So game was a totally different game, but we began to understand it. And from there we then started coming back up. At least we were there, the three of us and one of my cousins, and we toughened out. It was a boarding school we had boarders from class 1 actually, from Tanzania all the way to Form 4. It was mixed. It was all of us together. So it was really tough, really, really tough. But having that toughness then showed us a different path in life.
What was like the most difficult thing for you during that period? 9 years old, you're still young, losing a father.
I think for me the main thing was missing my mom.
I see.
Children don't yet have a relationship with their father. They just know this is my father, and they adore and respect him. But they don't have that relationship they have with the mother. I can see that even with my own. But the older you grow, the more developed your relationship becomes with your father. So I didn't really understand when my dad died. I remember I was going out to the neighbors and I was knocking on the gates after we got the news. Hey, my dad has died. Come, there's going to be a party. People are coming to the house. I didn't understand its morning. But going to boarding, then I was estranged from my mom. So that was really, really I was homesick most of the time. And then there's cold water. We used to get water from a borehole, and it was really tough. And I remember it's my younger brother who used to console me. He used to come and hold me and just say, don't worry, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I used to cry a lot every day, and it was tough for me.
I mean, just to be sensitive, especially the period we're in right now, there's been, if you go on Twitter, it's like an obituary. It's sad,
very sad.
People dying because of COVID. So there are people who have lost their loved ones, probably their parents, siblings, or very close relatives, friends. Like, what would you, tell someone who's like in, for me, the script that comes to my mind right now is, and I think posted it today. God is close to the brokenhearted.
And that's true, because it is then God who sees you through. Where there was love and now you feel like that love has gone and it's never going to come back, I think it's God who comes and covers. I remember my mom always used to say that God is the husband to the widow and father to the fatherless. So she always used to say, as I recall, that don't cry. Your father is here, meaning God is here. And therefore then when you cast your burdens to God, then you're a bit freer. It's better to cry to God than to be hopeless, because hopelessness then leads to despair, and despair then leads to bitterness and unforgiveness and anger, and eventually homicide or suicide. You'll either hurt somebody or you'll hurt yourself. But if you then grasp onto God, that, okay, who is this God? Where is this God? Then that comes. And I think mostly, I know that is scripture, that God is husband to the widow and father to the fatherless. It's so that we do not lose identity. because most of the time when, especially when a father goes,
Yeah.
then you lose your identity. We draw our names from our fathers. We call God himself Abba, Father.
Yeah.
And so when you lose that identity,
Yeah.
then you have to sort of beat your own path, find your own self, be your
Yeah.
own man, because you do not have this.
Yeah.
When you lose a mother, you lose nurture. Yeah, and therefore then you lack that form of nurture. But then God has a way in which he comes into nurture and to disciple you and to discipline you and to comfort you
Yeah.
in such a way that you're able to cover the void.
Yeah. So you left
Mosocho Academy.
Mosocho
Yeah,
Academy.
Mosocho Academy, yeah.
And then now you went to
So I went to Musagitao.
Musagitao.
Yeah, when my elder
Yeah. So from the village back to the city.
back to the city. Yeah. So when my elder brother finished his class 8,
Yeah.
what happened is my mom brought us nearer. So he went to school in Embu. Me and my younger brother went to Musagitao, which is right here in Kikuyu, which was nearer, which those visiting days and stuff like that. It was a mixed school, so we were reoriented to having this gender thing, noting that we were boys only, and then we went to boys boarding. But now we came back, and it was very good. Some of my best memories are from there, and it's also in Musagitao that I had my first encounter with this concept called salvation. Because Consolato St. Mary's was a pure Catholic school. Mosocho Academy was a pure SDA school.
Okay.
Musagitao was Presbyterian. In fact, it's right opposite Church of the Torch, the main church here. But it is there that I sort of had an encounter and began to see what is this thing called salvation. Some of the teachers were saved and therefore evangelical, and therefore they would allow us and teach us the word and allow for praise and worship in a different way. So then I started saying, what is this thing? And my life also began changing there. And so I can say my highlight then was definitely salvation.
What did you find out, this, what did you find this thing is? Because I mean, it's now, the younger generations may not have questions.
Yeah. What is salvation?
Serious questions. What is this salvation thing? We have lots of people who now don't believe in God.
Yeah.
They have valid reasons. So what did you find out that was like?
What is salvation?
Waiting for you, man.
What is salvation, man? Yeah. I guess I lacked identity.
Okay.
And for me then, I needed a relationship with God.
Okay.
And what I came to find out was, the scripture says that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life.
Yeah.
No one goes to the Father but through him.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. I wanted the Father. And so there's Jesus.
Yeah.
So I can't go to the Father, but I go through Jesus. You see, so for me then, okay, so who is this Jesus?
Yeah.
And is Jesus alive? And is he living? So it is through that one of my friends, it's called Eric.
Okay.
He transferred into the school the same time as I did, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was born again, and he came and he was reading the word and preaching the word.
Okay.
And I'm inquisitive, and so I said, what is this thing? So he gave me a Bible and said, you read this.
Yeah.
And I started reading. And the more I read, the more the word captivated me. The Bible says that the word is living and active, sharper than a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So the more you read it, the more it's like I started discovering who I am and why I'm here and what God has for me in the future. I started like getting identity and seeing what life is and who God is for me. And I could see then my family through the mirror of the word. I could see my life through the mirror of the word.
Yeah.
Now, as I continued in that search, then John 1 says that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Yeah. And it follows after a few verses and says, and the Word became flesh. Yeah. And that flesh then was the man, Jesus Christ. Yeah. So I said, so the way to the Father is through this Word. Yeah. But this Word is living because Jesus lives. Yeah. He's active because he's alive. Yeah. Then I said, so then now it's the relationship that I started cultivating then. With knowing Christ, because then with knowing Christ, then the joys of salvation come there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow, if you're out there, man, and probably you're wondering what's all these people quoting scriptures and this Jesus talk. Yeah, man. No offense, no, but the interesting thing, the scripture says the message of the cross, is foolishness to them that perish, and it's also very offensive, unfortunately. But God is love. I would say, if you're searching, you're out there, young guy, you have questions. Who is Jesus? Who is God? Why do I need to believe in Him? Do the research for yourself. Read the Bible, get it for yourself. How dare you even read the Quran? Read whichever book. Read whatever you want. I think nobody really can help God do His job.
No. In fact, it says, behold, I knock. He's at our hearts. He's knocking in everybody's heart. Everybody who's yearning, it is not you yearning for your own sake. Yeah, it is He who causes you to yearn. Therefore, that when you pursue Him, then He can be found. Yes. So if you're yearning, it's because it is He who is causing you to yearn.
That's right. Yeah. So I hope, and we hope and pray that you find answers as you search.
True.
Yeah. So now high school, Musagitao Salvation was like the highlight.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you went to Campo.
So then high school I went to Sunshine. Sunshine second. So okay. I always wanted to go to Alliance, man.
Good schools,
thank God. Thank God.
But for me, I went to the academy.
Yes.
And we had this thing in our school. We used to go for Mombasa trip. So we go all the way from Mombasa.
From
Kitale
to Mombasa.
And we would always meet.
Yes.
Not always, because it was just once.
That class 8 trip,
When I went there, that class 8, and we met students from Musagitao, and they looked,
they always used to go,
like, really good peeps.
Yeah,
so
it was a good.
They were like the funkiest, amongst the funkiest schools.
Musagitao used to be a really good school. I think it just went down a bit when former President Kibaki did free primary education. It was a public school, so it was a huge influx, but it then got its way back. But after that, then I went to Sunshine, which was a new trip altogether. First, it's in the heart of Nairobi. It's on Langata Road, so which was good. That time we moved, when we moved from, when I was young, then we were in Madaraka for a bit, then we moved to South B. Then from South B, my dad passed, then we moved to Phase 5, Buruburu, Phase 5 Extension, which again, South C and Eastlands are different places altogether. Altogether. Those days, Eastlands, especially because we're there, so Phase 5 Extension is right next to Outer Ring and Kariobangi South, so the culture there is quite similar. But then, so we later moved back to South C. And now, because the years in Buruburu I was in boarding most of the time, but now when we came to South C, that's when we finished our high school and got into the culture there. But Sunshine was a good school, small school, that had a huge emphasis on passing exams. Huge emphasis, man. I hated it. I hated it. Because
you didn't want to pass?
No, because I just hated it. In Mosocho, when I was in Mosocho Academy, I saw a game called Rugby. Oh my goodness. And soccer. Those days there used to be a soccer club called Shabana FC.
Shabana FC. That was Shabana was from, was it from Kisii?
I think it's, So they used to come and train there. So you'd see all these guys playing soccer. But there was rugby. And there's a guy called David Mshila. He then later went and played for Mwamba, then played for Mombasa. I don't know where he is now. But when I moved to when I went to Musagitao, Mshila's brother and sister were in Musagitao. So my heart was, when I finished primary, I'm going to play rugby. So when guys are selecting their KSP, their high school, most only selecting Alliance because there's rugby, Mangu because there's rugby, Lenana, Lenana because there's rugby. I was not going to Kakamega, I was not going to Yala or any of those places. Though they had very good rugby, but the thing was that zonal. So if you're in Kiambu, was Central Province, you choose 2 from Central. So it was Mangu and Alliance. And then outside Central, you choose another one. So I chose Lenana. So my heart was to go to Alliance. I passed, but they have quotas, so they can only take a few. Then the Lenana, so they couldn't take me, so I went to Sunshine.
Yeah.
And the day I landed in Sunshine like this, the Form 1s assemble and whatever. The moment the domes open, I took my kids and I went to the rugby field. I just asked, is there rugby here? If there was no rugby, I would run. I would run away from school. So I went to high school to play rugby. So when the emphasis was on education, I'm I'm already a chop. I'll pass this exam.
Yeah.
Let me play.
Yeah.
So there's that rebellious thing also. But but eventually we played rugby. We did well. We didn't get to the heights we wanted to, but my focus was then to get to the national team. And eventually we were drafted. And there's a youth development program run by a guy called Loxy, used to be a scrum half in Impala. And that guy was really good. He was, I think, in charge of youth development. Fred Olos was his name.
Yeah.
So he came around the schools and he got us excited about possibilities of joining the national team. At that time, that's the same time there was Sydney Ashoya, he was in Lenana, and I was his counterpart in this other place. Around that time, Fred Olos did a program where he allowed us to go into particular clubs. So in those particular clubs, I was to go to Impala. But what happened, when I finished high school, I went to Catholic University. Now, Catholic University is in Rongai, or Karen.
Yeah.
Impala is on Gong Road. There were no bypasses, there was no way. So there's no way you'd leave school and go all the way and train.
Yeah.
So I settled on going to play for Mean Machine, Nairobi University.
Okay.
So that's why I knew now I'm going to get my jersey. I'm going to get my Kenyan jersey. I can see my counterparts. I can see they're now getting their jerseys. I knew I'm on the path.
Yeah.
But I didn't get the jersey. Yeah, because I became a young miscreant. Charlie Wamta. And so I went into, after high school, instead of focusing on my studies or on my rugby, I decided to focus on music and South Sea life. So then, at that time, I remember there's a time in life I said, I'm taking a break from salvation. And so I took a break.
A good one. For that
a good one. 7 years. 7 full years.
That's a long break, man.
I never knew the break was over until I got saved. I was like, hiya, I let this thing go 7 years ago. So so South Sea was good. Now when we finished high school, we got into the culture.
Yeah.
And by culture, I might run for president one day, so I don't want to say what culture is. But
No.
Come and watch the tape.
No, this is not a US, man.
Okay.
The US, man, that's where.
Oh, that's why they'll query every.
Pull all your scandals.
Yeah. Anyway, so I got into the culture, the music, the girls, the alcohol, my coach used to call them harmfuls. So we got into all harmfuls, all manner of harmfuls, And so because of that, I strayed from school a bit, and I didn't really excel in campus with my studies. And also, I focused a lot on music. I was, when we were in high school, we used to go and we used to meet, used to go to Nairobi school to play rugby. And then we used to meet those guys were called kleptomaniacs and all those guys. And so we used to see, and Kolo, we had been with Kolo growing up. They grew up in Nairobi West, so in South Sea we had known him, and I'd seen him. We'd done tuition together. So we're all into this music thing. So after high school,
were you also like, making music?
Oh yeah, making music, rapping, had a full studio, production work. So we did that a lot. Used to did battles with those days, those guys called those doobies, but nowadays it's called a bass. Those Big Mike used to go battle at a place called Crooked Q's at a club in Westlands.
Mafrika?
No, we never Mafrika. Mafrika is hard though. Hey, Mafrika is hard. But I used to listen to him on the radio.
On YFM.
YFM, when he was still in campus. When he was still in campus, he was hard. So we always wanted to get to that level. But as we started going in that level, and I have an interesting music story, I started music in the estate. I saw one of my homies make a beat. And I was like, hey, if this guy can do it, I can do this thing. So we started. Then I had my best rap song, man. was from guys I knew. They did a hard rap song. I forget the name now, but it was just music for the estate, for the hood. And the hood was just at about 100 houses. So we started making music for ourselves and used to do our own parties with our own music and invite people, launch our own albums, and just, it was never for radio or for...
Just for fun.
Just for fun. And
just
those,
for the love of it, man.
And there was no social media, there was no YouTube, so you'd either do music to be a performing artist, and therefore you need airplay and videos, or you do music because you love music. So we did it because we loved it.
Brian,
yeah.
There was no YouTube.
There's no YouTube.
How old are you?
There's no YouTube. Hey.
I think there was YouTube, but
there's no YouTube.
It wasn't just there was
YouTube,
no YouTube.
YouTube was when YouTube was born 2005, 2006.
Yeah, I come to think of it.
Yeah, but 2006 had already stopped music.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, because we did some albums with some guys in Langata who really wanted to go commercial. They're called Sep Squad. The producer later died. It's called Brian also. Yeah, but what you do with albums, you do albums and then you take them to Mats. And then Mats will give you circulation, and then you can take it to radio.
Yeah.
Then radio will give you circulation, and then finally you can get gigs.
Yeah.
But that was so much of a hassle. We preferred, let's do music, let's hang out, let's do what we want to do, but do our own music. So that was then, but it's in that period of time that one day I was sleeping and I had a dream, and I was doing production work. And I saw a Rasta man.
Okay.
Yeah, in the dream. And he came and he knocked at the gate. And he said, I've come to teach you music. And then I woke up from the dream. Then 3 days later, I had a knock at the gate. And it was a Rasta man. And he came to teach us instruments. It's called Rotich, a Kalenjin guy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he taught us the instruments and all those things. And so we really got into the music thing, and he used to play, I think, I don't know whether you might know, this be a guy called Jackie Male. He used to play as a reggae DJ, reggae bar. So Rotich used to do some gigs for him, and so he started building up his own band. And therefore he was bringing us together. But just as we started becoming hard, I started becoming really good. Got arrested.
Got arrested?
Yeah.
Wow, what happened?
My brother had a dream.
We're gonna get deep, very deep into that story. Get into that, why you were arrested, and also get into your life after that.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a short break, and then we'll continue this story in part 2. I told you, man, Brian is a brilliant guy. I didn't know you're such an amazing storyteller, man.
Oh my.
You're a good storyteller. Yeah, but Talking Today is all about inspiring stories. We hope you get inspired. We'll catch you in part 2. Stay tuned right here.